Hey, Choom, we've invited you here in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power. And in that spirit, thanks for joining me and being willing to share your life and your story and some tips, and even submit yourself to the questionnaire. The Inquisition later should be a lot of fun. If you're ready to go, we can dig in. What do you think, buddy?
I love to submit.
How about we start first with your name, your pronouns, and we go from there.
Yeah, I'm Griffin. I'm he/him/Choom.
Mm-hmm. He, him, Choom. And dude, Griffin, we know each other. I'd like to start with this because I don't know, you're a streamer. I don't know if you knew me first or if I knew you, but I was like, this guy's got the goods. I love how you do the whole green screen thing. You're very creative, and you're just like a funny guy in the moment, and that's very easy to take for granted, I believe. But I don't take that for granted. But that's pretty much how we know each other. Is that accurate?
I think I think we filter in similar pools of degenerates online streaming about politics 5 to 7 days a week. Yeah. And also you're I think that there are certain people that I really value in these communities that are trying to like collaborate and work together, and you're one of those people I respect. And also shout out to Kenzo Shibata. He's one of those good leftists. We have no power, in this moment. So I think it's good to be friendly.
Hey, right. Smart move.
I try. You're friendlier than me, though.
I really got to put it on. I'm a real asshole.
I can tell the nicest people are always psychopaths. Like it's always a red flag when I meet a really nice person.
You're on to me. Choom, in Where Are They Now? We get to talk a little bit more about what you do, where people can find you. How about we start with, I don't know, your Twitch channel and what you do on there, and other things that you do and whatever. I don't know. What the hell?
Yeah, I am a sketch comedian in LA. I started streaming. I'm a pandemic streamer. Got my first PC during the pandemic, and I started streaming games. But then there started to be a lot of politics happening. I started talking about it, and just kind of went from there. I feel like there's a lot of really, really smart and like informative political talk shows that do a great job, like yours and other people, about building communities of like leftists and stuff like that, of which I am one. But I kind of wanted to do something different. I feel like if you start a stream on Twitch, you should occupy a different space, or not try to do the same thing as everyone else. So yeah, I'm trying to do kind of a shit show, hectic kind of vibe, and trying to get people who frankly aren't leftists to pay attention to the news and maybe hear some of my shit.
A shit show, hectic vibe. How did you center on that?
I don't know. I think that just staring into Twitter every day is like makes your brain bleed, and your eyes pop out of your sockets, and I think kind of encapsulating the vibe of just experiencing our brain poisoning every day is funny to me.
The brain worms. How do they get in?
We know how they get in. We put them in our own ears. We shove them in there.
It's our fault. The brain worms.
It's our fault. But yeah, I stream Mondays through. I stream the weekdays. We used to do nights. We're kind of moving into afternoons now as life is coming back on, and I have to go back to work at night, and there's starting to be comedy shows again. So we're balancing all that. But yeah, it's a new show, and we also, despite it cratering my viewership at times, we also play a lot of games. Got Pokemon Snap coming out tomorrow night, 9:00 Pacific time. Be there.
Is that a Switch game?
Pokemon Snap is a game that originally came out for the Nintendo 64. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's literally a game that's an on-rails shooter where you just take pictures of Pokemon in their natural environments. It is based. It is Choom. It's what I like to call Choom. And they made a new one that comes out on the Switch tomorrow night. So I'm very excited.
Is that going to be $60 like every other game that comes out?
I spend I spend so much money as a Twitch streamer on fucking video games that I don't even like sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
All sorts of people trick me into buying games in my audience, and sometimes they buy them for me because they feel bad. So I do have to mention that people have bought me a lot of games too because they feel bad for me. Yeah, I spend a lot of money on games. But you know, because we're Twitch streamers, we can write all that off now. So you know,
gamify it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit show, hectic vibe on your show. I love it. All right. Tell us about the KFC console.
Oh, you want to talk about the KFC console? Sure. Okay. So in the bottom, down here, the KFC console has been sort of preheating in the Choom for I would say almost a month now. People have been really wondering what it is. People have been dying to know what is in it. Now I am preheating it for you guys right now. Typically you do have to spend a little bit of bits to preheat it. I advocate for leftist, Marxist, Leninist values IRL, but in the Choomroom it is a feudalist society run by me. I am the king, and I accept your peasant donations to activate parts of the stream. This was a labor of love. The sound effects aren't here, but I think you're still going to get something out of this.
Oh my. There it is, dude.
It's Kentucker Fried Carlson. It's Kentucker Fried Carlson.
I'm dead, dude.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That's what the liberals don't want you to know about the dipping sauces. They want to take ranch away from you. They want to take honey barbecue away from you. They want to say no dipping sauces for anyone that's white. They want to get rid of the white meat menu of the chicken. They want to replace it with dark meat. I'm working in the Joker laugh now because he's getting a lot of Joker in there. But yeah, he has been doing a lot of menu replacement theory lately, which has been very uncomfortable to have in the room.
I like how you just give yourself a little character it allows you to go free with it. It's so it is fun. It's freeing to have a character.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff you can activate in the room that can really ruin my stream and like just totally throw me off. And that's typically what my audience likes to do with them.
Oh, I lost my shit there.
No worries.
Choom, what are your hobbies like? What do you do when you're not doing this shit?
I do a lot of comedy. Right. At least I used to. I had a live sketch comedy show that got shut down and canceled because of the pandemic, and the theater has undergone new management. So I don't know what my live show is going to be like now because a lot of the new people running the theater really hate Choomroom.
Shit. Your Twitch show itself?
Yeah. Okay. They don't like the show. They don't like the leftist politics. LA is hyper blue anon. So I used to be hosted on their Twitch channel, but they removed Choomroom after about 6 months because they don't like the show. Shouts out to them.
King. That's a fucking badge of honor, dude.
So I do this. So I do a lot of live sketch comedy. I make a lot of videos too, and I play a lot of fucking video games.
Nice, cool. All right, it's nice to have a good belly chuckle. I really enjoyed that. Not gonna lie. All right, folks. Yeah, the truth is, I really like to hang out in Choomroom's room. Their Twitch channel is really great. The first day the first moment I pulled you up, you were doing green screen work and you had a guest on and you were pulling them up and it was a whole back and forth and it was clear, it was like, I don't know, scripted, semi-scripted or just baseline, improv that, with some bullet points or whatever you were doing. But it was hilarious. I was losing my shit. And I just happened to pop in there, when you happened to be doing one of those bits. It was hilarious. And of course we were able to do that, when I popped on. I got a green screen. We should plan some stupid shit sometime. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to put you in the room. I do have a reverse. Oh, it's kind of broken right now. I do have a reverse angle I could sit you down in at some point. It's what I really like to get to the point where I can like hire some sort of like 3D artist to like to do it for real. But I also am so lazy.
Yeah. That'll get you. All right, Jim. So now we get to talk about your leftward bound journey. In Leftward Bound, a little chat about your pathway to the left. Everyone comes there different ways. And of course, you don't have to define your ideology if you don't want to. I do think you mentioned you were a leftist, and you could specify as much as you're willing, or you can not. It's not a big deal. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and start from there and see where the conversation takes us.
My journey?
Sure. Yeah. How'd you get here?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been like following news and politics for a long time, and I probably would consider myself pretty libbed out. Until the Bernie Sanders campaigns. And then I got active in both of those. And then the pandemic happened and pretty much every second of life was highly politicized. And then living in LA with the summer protests and riots was pretty radicalizing as well in terms of the police state. So, yeah, there's just a lot of things that made me start talking about it while I was playing video games on Twitch. And now I guess I'm here. Yeah, I guess I consider myself probably like a socialist, but I'm not really big on labels or like hyper like signaling within groups, because my whole goal is to get a bunch of normal people who have never read a book to like do stuff together in unison. And so I have read a lot of theory and I like all that stuff, I'm trying to like come at it from a different way. And I think that way for a lot of people who are apolitical or depoliticized or feel isolated from politics is comedy.
Yeah. All right. Sure. All right. Do you want to talk more about your comedy? I don't know. We've already started to dig into that. Is there anything you wanted to mention that is important to you when you're doing comedy, or I don't know?
This is fun. I feel like I'm at a free therapist session right now.
Honestly, I have a friend who does therapy, and I was thinking about asking them for tips. It's a little bit of it, yeah.
I mean, I think comedy was a big breaking point for me personally into becoming more of a leftist. I was definitely like libbed the fuck out. I watched Rachel Maddow every day. I, subscribed to the Huffington Post and stuff like that. And I think it was certain people, whether it was Twitter accounts or podcasts, that told me a little bit more about the elites and ghouls that run our media institutions and our lives and our politics. And like making fun of them was a big breaking point for me in realizing what a bunch of sickos our country is run by. And I think that could be a breaking point for a lot of other people that are, potentially not down for reading theory or like going full, communist, which is cool if you're doing that. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm trying to get people who just like, aren't watching, 12 hours of like Twitch politics to like check out the news each day for a couple hours.
Yeah, I think that's a great space to be filling. And I wish more would do it. Yeah, so good on you. Well done. Again, it's a lot of fun. Y'all should just hang out with Choom. I'll often have people go, I don't know. I don't want to. I'll often have people say, "Hey, that Choomroom guy really won me over. Really funny." So well done, well done.
But you also have a lot of people complaining, right?
I left that out intentionally. Choom. What else? What else? This is just if we have anything else on your mind in terms of any aspects of politics or theory or thinking or anything else, history, your own personal experiences. You already mentioned a couple different things, going from Lib to Bernie and the pandemic, the riots. You got a pupper in the White House, and yeah, I don't know what helped to pull your mind and your heart to the left.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think certainly the comedy, but I think also probably the aspect of working, a paycheck to paycheck job for the last decade, probably helped. I've worked in restaurants for my entire adult life, and just seeing like a lot of people there who work doubles or triples in their 50s just to make it out here, and that's just no way to live. I know so many guys that work 7 days a week. And that's just not like a life, So that kind of stuff I think got me too, because I was educated at private high schools, and then I went to a very sort of elite, swanky New York college, and so I've always been surrounded by sort of like the rich liberals, and I could have been very lived the fuck out. I think if I had stayed in college and then gotten a really good job out of college, because I would have just been surrounded by a different type of people, I think. But working 10 years in restaurants will make you hate rich people.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do in your restaurant work? I started to do a lot of that in the past 3-4 years, behind the bar specifically. I thought it would be cool. It wasn't cool. It was obscene.
What kind of bars you work at? I'm a bartender too.
Well, the last place I was working at was a gin bar. But we would do all classic cocktails, and really good bar actually. That's what I thought I wanted to do, and I don't know if that was what I wanted to do. I think I like to sit in my. I lost you, buddy. I think I like to sit in my chair. I think I got you there.
Okay.
Sometimes when I think when the bit rate changes, that 50-50 scene gets a little wonky. But I have no idea what I was just saying.
You're talking about bartending. Yeah.
I like cocktails.
Excuse me.
And all drinks. I like to drink. I think I did it because I'm like an alcoholic, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to do it without people realizing. But I didn't realize it until just about this moment.
I don't drink that much, actually. In fact, I like barely drink. But I really love making a cocktail. And I love like tasting cocktails, like being like, ooh, like got that one perfect. But yeah, I just like the physical creation aspect of it. But like right now, because I'm so busy with like Twitch and comedy, that like I don't like bartending gigs because you have to be up really late at night a lot of the time, and a lot of like LA bars like want you to be like committed to like the bartender lifestyle and like be like interested in it. It's like, I'm just here to be good at my job and make money. I'm not like, yeah, like I really want to go to that like outing where we learn about this botanical. Like I'm too busy for that bullshit. So I mainly do serving right now, but I miss the physical with like working with my hands and creating something beautiful. I miss that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's hard though. It's a fucking grind, and you make very little money, I found.
I mean,
it's very uncool.
What's weird is like in LA. I mean, I've worked in Texas restaurants and then LA restaurants, and there's just like a world of difference because of the minimum wage is different. And like, I mean, in Texas, I was getting paid $2.13 an hour. And then in California, I have to get paid like the minimum wage plus tips. And so like, that's a major difference. For the amount of hours that you can work in LA, like working in restaurants can be good actually. But it just depends on the state you're in.
Hashtag be best. Yeah.
Be best. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Choomroom, if you can go back in time, talk to a younger version of yourself, impart life wisdom, maybe leftist wisdom, or of course, just, more appropriately, you'll be talking to someone who's in the chat listening in.
Be best. Well, I love this question because I think that we cannot forget the legacy of Be Best. One of the greatest things to come from the Trump administration. A lot of people talk about Operation Warp Speed, but Be Best sort of walked so Warp Speed could warp. And I think that, yeah, Be Best is something that I try to tell my chat all the time. Uh, I really, really, really like that phrase. And she nailed it on that one. Honestly, she's probably, a really terrible person, but tell me something that another first lady did that was better than Be Best. I challenge you right now.
Nancy Reagan's Just Say No. No, not as good. Michelle Obama's
Reagan,
Let's Move. Not as good. No.
Well, I think Michelle Obama's probably fine, but anyone before Michelle Obama's, all L's. I'm sorry, all losers. Before Michelle, I'll say before Michelle, chat. All losers before Michelle. Absolute terrible campaigns. I'm sorry. Be Best was great. Sticks in your brain. Be Best. I would say the number one thing for me is while it like feels good to like log on and like post on Facebook and like make some of your liberal friends upset, it's like really fun to do. It's awesome to do and hilarious, and they get really mad. I just don't know if it's effective or worthwhile, though, is what I would say to my younger self. I've gotten into a lot of Facebook fights and a lot of online fights, and I think for the first couple of years, I thought that if I could like rub people's noses in their hypocrisies, if I could make people feel bad enough, they would somehow be broken that way into coming over to my side. And I think that it's largely just a waste of energy. And I think you could do something else, more constructive and just more positive with your time, because a lot of these people aren't going to be you're not going to change their mind. So you're kind of just like jerking off. Is my take on some of it. I just feel like they're never gonna change in that way. So it's really, you're just doing it for you.
Go on.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't try to like convince people and like talk to people. I'm saying when I like go on Facebook and I like make fun of Elizabeth Warren, like that's not like ever like building a bridge. That's just like making people feel shitty about the stupid candidate they liked. Like that's and I think that like while it was really funny to make fun of like Elizabeth Warren and honestly warranted, like I could have just like been doing that on Twitter and like not hurting like every single person in LA's feelings, because like the TV liberal consensus like of like entertainment people was like so pro Warren, and then anyone in comedy who like was younger or didn't have a job was Bernie, and so there was like a real clear like classist divide between the groups in LA. But like it was funny to do and it felt good, but I just don't think I could have put my like energy elsewhere, All
right.
But I think that you should still, one of the things I do on my stream all the time is engage with like right wingers or liberals or libertarians. But I think on Twitch we can have like a conversation that's like more constructive than like a Facebook status.
All right. Be best.
Be
Thank
best.
you, Griffin, for that excellent advice. I think a lot of people are going to, that's going to resonate with a lot of people. Yeah. All right, buddy. So now we have come to the Leftist Inquisition. It's the questionnaire that everyone loves and nobody hates. Okay.
I'm going to hate it for the first time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be a iDanSimpson first.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What? You're going to hate it? No, that's fine. And if you want to skip or pass any question, that's totally fine. I don't take anything personally. All right. Choom, do you have a favorite word?
A favorite word? No. Well, let's say choom.
Choom.
Yeah, I like the word choom because
right.
It can mean anything, but it also the way it's like it's a word that with the intonation can say a lot. So there's good chooms and there's bad chooms. There's deep dark chooms. There's positive chooms. There's all sorts of chooms, and that's what I like about that word.
Choom, choom, choom. Do you have a least favorite word, Choom?
The slurs.
Yeah, you can't say those. All right, that brings us then to favorite drug.
Favorite drug.
A vice or a guilty pleasure, or you can name one of each. What do you think, Griffin?
Favorite drug. Favorite vice or guilty pleasure. I mean, I'll tell you about my most recent guilty pleasure. That's Emily in Paris, baby. The Netflix show. Oh my God. One of the worst shows ever made. It's like I describe watching Emily in Paris on Netflix as like the feeling it must feel like to be like neuralized by the Men in Black scanner, like where they just like put it in front of your eyes and there's a big flash. It's an incredible feeling, and in a world that demands so much of your brain all the time, to just sit back and get neuralized is incredible, and I highly recommend it. I love Emily in Paris. They were snubbed at the Oscars. That's my guilty pleasure.
They were neuralized. Funny. You were neuralized. All right. Yeah. Then moving on. Choom, Griffin, do you have a favorite sound or noise or one that you love? Come on. I know.
A favorite sound?
Yeah, just something that makes you go,
A favorite sound, this is maybe cheating, but anytime I hear the parade music at the end of Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, that, I mean, I will chug 10 beers to that, like at any time of the day.
Nice. I noticed you put your gloves on for this portion of the interview.
Yeah, I was nervous
about
I was nervous about the questions.
Okay.
I thought I might need to be tactical.
To be able to take the gloves off?
Well, I have to be able to do things like this.
That's a skip. I think that's a past question. Okay. Do you have a sound or noise that you don't love or even hate? Intensely dislike?
A sound I intensely dislike. No, I don't think about these things.
Same. I don't know why I ask them. It's sort of in a tradition of questions, and I've sort of caught myself using questions I'm not sure I believe in. This is evolving. It's the slow evolution of things. Oh, this is a good one though. Now, unless you were raised in France or Wisconsin, you only get one answer to this question, unless you break the rules. What's your favorite cheese?
Probably ricotta.
Correct.
Because it's so versatile. You can use it in a dessert. You can use it in a dinner.
It's a tasty little snack. Ricotta. All right. That's a correct answer. All right. We're at the reincarnation question. If you could come back as a plant or a non-human animal, and if somehow you had the choice, what would you be?
A non-human animal?
Yeah.
There's so few animals left that you're like, okay, which one would like I mean, there's so many cool monkeys out there. I could be one of those. Honestly, I heard that hippos are one of the most dangerous animals. So I think I'd be one of them. I'd be a hippo.
Cute too. It's like in a cute tank way, you know?
Yeah, you're cute, but then you can also attack.
Those are important things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top of my priorities here. All right, Griffin. You go to heaven at the end of your life. You're at the pearly gates. There's God. What would you like to hear God say to you?
I knew this was a religious stream. I knew it.
You got me.
They're so subtle these days.
Right there at the end.
What would I say to God? Or what would he say to me?
Honestly, go either way. But the question was, what would they say to you? What would you like to hear God say?
I don't know, like, why didn't they ever, like, why was Kingdom Hearts 3 so bad?
Yeah.
That's what I'd ask him first. That's something that's been on my mind for a long time. Yeah. But honestly, I'd just be like, happy, surprised I'm here, happy to be here. Let's vibe.
Let's vibe. Let's get in. Come on in. There's pizza inside. All right, then, Griffin, you can name then an influential leftist. They could be dead or alive. Anyone that you'd like to meet and have a conversation with.
A leftist that I would like to have a conversation with. Marianne Williamson. She's probably my favorite leftist because basically every single thing she said has like always been right, which is crazy. Her hit rate is like out of this world. And I think that she is like speaking to like the core of the problem. And I think if more people didn't write her off as cheesy, but really did try to intuit some of the things she was saying, they would realize how true they resonate. She is the orb queen, and I always think like I think she's like watching over me when I do things, and I'm like, well, I gotta make her proud. You know, she's probably my favorite on the internet.
Marianne Williamson. First time I've heard that answer on the show. I like it. Choom. All right. Now, the next question is pretty much like if you could have that hypothetical conversation, what would it be? What would you ask them? Maybe what would they tell you? What would they think about you? What would they? I don't know.
Me and Marianne, we would talk just about like movies. We would talk about movies and birds.
Movies and birds.
She's obsessed with like bird pictures and animals.
She posts a bird picture every day, like an animal every day. Is it just birds? It seems to be birds lately.
Yeah, I mean, she's so connected with like the life force of the planet, like in such a like a Final Fantasy VII way. She just gets that like there's something rotten at the core of the American soul, and that our world is at stake, and that most of these animals are not going to be around much longer, and that we are like in the last era of animals. And like I think all of that is such deep, dark, psychic energy, and the only way that we can combat it is with like unity and love. She's 100% correct, and anyone that says that's corny is like some weird like cynic that like is afraid to be emotional. I think we should be brave and openly emotional about these issues because it's tragic what's happening.
All right. Love it. So Troom, then I think this brings us to the leftist book. Do you have a favorite leftist book or author or resource?
Favorite leftist book. I like this guy called Karl Marx. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to like recommend for starters for people. I mean, obviously, The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn as I think a really, really good starter book for a lot of people to just sort of understand how our country was built and sort of how it is run and works, and a very class-based perspective on America, plus a shit ton of history that that you'll never hear about in the history books, and it's also a really fun read. I'd recommend that one for starters. I would say that like there's a fun like little sort of PDFs or summaries of theory that can be interesting, but I don't think that theory is a like requirement to talk about politics or to be political or be politically active, because you know what, so many of these issues are so obvious that it's like you don't have to read Karl Marx to know that our planet is melting, right? And that like we need to do something about it. And so I don't view like those are requirements. I view them as accoutrement, as extra things you can, an extra layer of icing or sprinkles you can lay onto the cake of being an active leftist. I think they can like inform you, but I don't want things to feel exclusionary by getting too much into theory, if that makes sense.
It does, and I love it. Yeah, I became a leftist without reading any of it.
Yeah, and I don't know how to read, and I'm trying to play that long game where like the chat is just a blur to me, and I'm just guessing.
Yo, alrighty. Choom, you are a streamer. You watch streams. Do you have streamer tips? Be them for beginners or veterans. I don't know. What do you tell people? Such a big question, I know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think first of all, if you want to stream, do it because you want to like occupy or do something different on the platform. Twitch is already basically impossible to grow on. There's really only like, like 40 to 100 people making a real serious money off of it, and most viewers go to them. So really, really think like, what value do you provide? Like, it isn't enough to just get like a webcam and OBS and stuff. It's like, you have to occupy a new space on this platform to get people to watch it. And I think really be self-aware and critical of like, what do I have and like, what values do I provide? Because I think too many people are just like, well, I'm doing all the basics and I'm following all the YouTube videos on how to build a stream and stuff. But it's like, yeah, but think larger about like why people would want to watch your stuff, and think about that every day. And also it's like a long process. So, you may not crack it at first. I started streaming just games, and then I started talking about politics while I played games, and then it evolved from there. In terms of, in terms of Twitch politics stuff, I think that it's important to be inclusive, and I think it's important to maybe not have an opinion all the time, or to like wait it out. I think it's also would be a good thing to focus on the issues and not the drama. I would be like that would be my last thought about all that.
Good shit. Really good advice, Choom. Now, what we can do next is allow you, if you have any questions for me, we can do that. Excuse me. After that, I'm actually, we can do your questions for me if you have any. You don't have to. And then also any questions from chat. You guys, chat, feel free to start chiming in.
My first question is, when are we going to do Twitch Sings duets?
Oh, don't you miss it? Did you do any of it back in the day? I miss it, dude. I love Twitch Sings. They exploded it. So sad, dude.
So can we not do karaoke just on here?
I mean, like, I think some people find a way to do it. I don't know how they do it, though. Mm-hmm. We'll have to do a little work to figure out karaoke. How do people do karaoke?
I really feel like as Twitch just becomes like more and more restrictive, and I just think that YouTube is just going to eat its lunch in the next like 2 years.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think every streamer should have a backup plan, because YouTube looks like shit right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the algorithms are just insanely better on YouTube.
Explain that. What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, TikTok basically, I mean, not TikTok, sorry, Twitch basically has almost no algorithm, no discoverability. There's no area of the site that's like featured clips where you could cycle through multiple different streamers and see highlights and be like, "Oh, let me check that streamer out." There's virtually no discoverability on the platform, and you have to basically build that on other platforms, which is not ideal. Like most of your new viewers, you do have to funnel through YouTube or Twitter typically, because it's just really hard. And besides, outside of building and collaborating with other streamers at your size, that's about it. Whereas on YouTube, I mean, their hashtags and all the different things that you can do there are way, way, way more discoverable. And the only things that YouTube is lacking is sort of the idea of the YouTube community of streamers, and also just the way their player looks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know. YouTube's got the platform, maybe the algorithms, and Twitch has the live interaction. They seem to have that down pat. Huh?
Yeah, like Twitch has like a great looking player, and they have these great sort of collaboration ideas like raiding and stuff like that. But also it's like Twitch has like almost no employees, and Amazon puts almost no time into it because it's not even like 1% of their profit margins. It's such a tiny part of what Amazon does that they don't invest money into it. And I think this sort of lackadaisical attitude that they have with Twitch is eventually going to be its downfall, and YouTube is going to eat its lunch.
All right. Choom, one of the main ideas behind this show, at the very least, this first round of chats and interviews, is that we're planting seeds here. I'm hoping we can return and continue the conversation and return to some of these seeds that we planted, see what's grown, and of course plant some new seeds along the way. But that's sort of the general idea, and that seems like a good one that we would be able to return to and talk about. All right. Yeah, dude. What else is grinding your gears, as it were? Hold on. We had a question from the chat. Do you have a favorite
we have a few.
comedian? Yeah.
Favorite comedian. Ooh. There's so many good people. One of my favorite political-esque or political vibe comedians that's been blowing up is Kylie Brakeman. She's incredibly funny.
Yeah.
And just incredibly talented at somehow like making fun of liberals, but the liberals still like her and she can still work in Hollywood. It's a very, very fine line that she rides with that stuff, and I'm fascinated to watch her rise. I like people like, Nathan Fielder or Connor O'Malley. And, there's a bunch of great new people on the internet that are, going to be getting shows in the next couple of years that are coming up right now. Rajat Suresh is very, very funny. There's a lot of great people coming up right now. Someone asked me, was I always a lib/leftist, always politically aware? Can I answer questions from the chat?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to? Am I allowed to read them?
Is that in your chat or mine?
I'm not streaming.
Oh, okay, so in my chat. Okay, yeah, hit it. Yeah, were you always a leftist? Is the question? Okay.
I got super into politics, and got like just sort of normal libbed out during Obama's second campaign run, I guess, or his rerun. I'm so stupid right now. What is it called when he runs again?
Second campaign, no idea. No, I don't know.
No, there's a word. It's early for me. So I got involved then, and I would say that I was, watching Rachel Maddow and MSNBC and Huffington Post and getting sort of the very surface level news, and sort of, I was even watching Bill Maher and thinking all of his guests were very smart. I was very, very lib. And then I think the Bernie Sanders campaign, and then honestly, a lot of stuff around around Russiagate and MSNBC was what really broke me from the MSNBC media ecosystem. I mean, I was really, really I really believe that like Robert Mueller was going to put all those people in jail. I was like like this was, like I had supported Bernie, but like they still had really got me. I was watching Maddow every day, and she was treating it like an airport Tom Clancy novel, with the way she was breaking it down. And then just like nothing ever came of the major stuff. And sure, like some people did go to jail for like little infractions, but like the big smoking gun and this big spy story at large was like largely not true. And certainly there was shenanigans happening, and certain people did go to jail for like phone calls and stuff like that they made, but just never was the thing it was made out to be. And I felt very lied to. And I think that Rachel Maddow having Trump's tax returns was another big one for me. She had like a 12-hour lead up where she said like the biggest bomb was going to drop, that she had the tax returns. And it ended up to be a non-story. It ended up to be not that bad. And I just started to really feel like, oh, this is a show and it's not about the information. So that was a breaking point. And then just just comedy and just being online on Twitter and seeing some of the people that I thought were smart, learning about them and them being made fun of.
Yeah. Seeing these folks in a new light. All right.
A lot of comedians I grew up with and loved turned out to be horrible and ultimately got canceled. You had to reevaluate your role models in comedy. I think everyone needs to always reevaluate their lives and their friends and their communities when we think about all this stuff. There's all sorts of bad people in every single industry, actually. It's just that like entertainers have bigger social media followings and platforms. So I feel like, a lot of that Me Too shit probably happens in a lot of industries, but you hear about it because it's like a famous stand-up comedian, right? Have I had to reevaluate? Yeah, I don't think like most of the guys that get canceled. Like, I mean, I think everyone liked Louis C.K. Like, I think that's just a pretty generic, to say. I don't think he was like a role model. I was like, I'm gonna be the fat bald guy doing stand-up. Like, that's not a role model for me. I know I occupy a different space. I don't know. I certainly think that I'm in a weird space too, because I'm a sketch comedian, which is sort of like a total different vibe from stand-up. The stand-up world is a lot seedier and darker, and sketch comedians are like wearing wigs and like putting on weird thongs and just smearing each other with garbage. Like it's a different vibe, I think, and I think that being a stand-up is all about being an individual, whereas sketch comedy is all about teamwork and collaboration, which is a different type of personality. Because when you're doing a show, you and 8 people all have to rely on each other and work each week with each other, and it's much more of like a solidarity experience being on a sketch team than being a stand-up and being out there all on your own. So the vibes are very different. But there are creeps in sketch comedy too, let me tell you. Who's Choom's favorite chatter in the Choom room? I don't have a favorite one. I kind of have a sort of general disdain for all of them.
Equal. Yeah. You annoy us all equally. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say, Choom?
Dan, you're doing great. You're at 80 people right here. That's great.
You helped bring them in. What can I say? Choom,
I love that.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. This has been really nice. And again, we planted some seeds. We've invited you here in the spirit of building leftist unity, strength, and power. You've been a great guest, and I really look forward to returning to some of these seeds we planted, keeping the chat going, and in future chats it'll be you'll have less bullshit questions to deal with. We could just chat.
Sure, I'd love to anytime.
Right.
I'd love to have you back on sometime soon.
Yeah, we'll do some green screen stuff. We'll have some fun. All right, well, Choom, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. You're amazing, and looking forward to the next chat. All righty. So,
bye, chat. Nice to meet everybody. iDanSimpson chat. Love you guys. Bye.
Peace, Choom. Solidarity. Choomroom. It's Mr. Choomroom. He's on a room and he does a choom. It's a Choomroom. Hey, YouTube. You're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.